Why should you not form an LLC? Well, everybody loves LLCs. They're great. They're one of the most popular business types. But there is one very important reason why you should consider not forming an LLC. And then there are some less important reasons that might matter to you. The most important reason is because it is an S corporation who gets a taxed benefit. The default rules for an LLC are you do not get the payroll tax benefit that an S Corp gets. Let me explain how that works. Let's say in an LLC that you're the sole owner and the LLC generates $200,000 in income but had $100,000 in expense. So that means you only have $100,000 in profit. But still, that's good money. In an LLC, the default rule with the IRS is that you are not taxed at the LLC level, you're taxed at the personal level. It's called a pass-through entity. So you're going to pay two types of tax on that $100,000. Income tax, like everybody pays when they have income, and payroll tax. What is payroll tax? It's roughly 15%, and it's the payroll withholdings that apply whenever you are working for somebody. Typically, the employee has payroll withholdings and pays the payroll tax of about 7.5%. And then the employer pays 7.5%. That adds up to roughly 15%. But think about it. In this scenario, you're both the employer and the employee. So you have to pay the whole 15%. So now you are paying on that $100,000 15% payroll tax, plus whatever the federal income tax bracket is that you're in, plus the state income tax bracket that you're in. So that's a pretty high amount of money. That's an LLC. But for an S corporation, there's a significant discount in many circumstances. So using the same scenario of an S corporation this time earning $100,000, let's say the job that you are doing for the S corporation is only worth $50,000. In other words, if the S corp were to hire an employee to do the job that you're doing, the S corp would pay a salary of $50,000 to that employee. Well, that's how for this scenario, we'll treat you that way. The S Corp is going to pay you wages of $50,000. That leaves the other half of the profits, $50,000, available to be paid out as a profit distribution. Wages are subject to the 15% tax. Profit distributions in an S Corp are not. So you are saving 15% of $50,000 in this scenario. And that's every single year. So as you can see in this scenario, 15% of $15,000, that's thousands of dollars. That's a lot of money in your pocket every year. I'm not talking about an additional deduction or a credit or an exemption. That's actually cash in your pocket. You are avoiding having to pay that payroll tax for the $50,000 that exceeds your wages. So an S corporation has an incredible benefit. Now, if the company's only making $20,000, that benefit's not going to kick in because you have to pay your wage in an S Corp or an LLC. And if you're only making $20,000, it's not going to cover your whole wage. So if you're thinking about this, you might say, well, hey, why don't I just pay myself $1 in a wage? That way I'll pay 15% tax on $1, and the $999,000 or $99,000, $999, that all comes in free of the payroll tax. Well, the IRS thought of that. And the rule is you have to pay yourself a fair market wage. So what you want to do is take a look on Indeed or Craigslist and see what's a fair wage. And then I would even recommend saving the evidence of the wage or the job postings for the kind of job that you're doing. I'd also recommend running it by a CPA or a tax attorney. That way you have the protection of a licensed professional reviewing whether you made a reasonable wage when setting your wage in an S Corp. You might wonder, if you have an LLC, can you still get the payroll tax benefits in an S Corp? Yes, you can. An LLC can elect to be taxed as an S Corp. But you can only do that if your LLC otherwise doesn't violate S Corp rules, and you need to then treat your LLC essentially as an S Corp. So you can't have the benefits of both, if you will. You can't have an LLC that has all sorts of things that would not be permitted in an S Corp, and then get the tax benefit of the S Corp. The IRS doesn't permit that. All right, that wraps it up for today. If you are interested in being notified about future live sessions, usually we send out a notice a couple days in advance. You can get that notice in two ways. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and turn on notifications, or you can get our emails. To do that, go to aaronhall.com/free, enter your email address, and you'll know about these free live YouTube sessions, and you'll also get access to exclusive videos that aren't available to the public. It was a pleasure having you here today. I look forward to seeing you next time.